Fire that baby up.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of True Heel Heat Sports, where we break down everything that happens in basketball, football, baseball, boxing, UFC, whatever the case may be. We're probably going to be talking about it if it's important. And this week's episode, or this episode, I shouldn't say this week. I can't even say this week. We've only been around for a week or so, and we're already on episode 7. This is incredible with the cast of characters that you guys have gotten used to. Remember to hit that like button, to comment, to share, to subscribe if you have not already. We are live and we are here this episode to talk about football. Now, last week we had a lot of news. We had the Baker Mayfield trade to the Panthers to talk about. We were talking about some of ESPN's top lists. And one of the things that we teased was that we would be doing on this channel a win-loss record breakdown of every single division for the year. And we tease, we deliver. That's what we'll be doing today, and we will be starting with the AFC South. But if we're going to be talking about the AFC South in particular, you know we got to have on top guy JJ. JJ, how are you doing this evening?
I'm fantastic, man. Thanks for the invite, and it's good to be on True Heel Heat Sports for the first time. You know, it only took 7 episodes, because they've been talking about baseball pretty much this entire freaking this entire history. It's good to be here. Good to talk some football. What's up, chat? I see ALW. I see Safet. I see Armand. I see y'all. I see y'all. What's good?
And, of course, my co-host when I'm talking about football is the True Heel MVP, the man of 1,000 shows, appearances all over the place, probably only rivaled by SB3 or beaten by SB3. He is True Heel Romeo. Romeo, how are you doing this evening?
Doing good. Always nice to be on the same stream with top guy JJ. Thank you for joining us. Shout out to now 85 subscribers here on True Heel Heat Sports. We are 15 away from 100. We appreciate all of you. Definitely keep supporting. We appreciate it.
Exactly, guys. We are growing this channel at a breakneck speed, and all of that is because of you guys. So we're going to give you guys what you came here for. It's football talk, and we are going to start off with the biggest news of this week, which is easily Kyler Murray, the $230 million man, $160 million guaranteed over 5 years. As you can see from this tweet from Adam Schefter, it's going to make him the second highest paid quarterback at $46.1 million a year. His teammates are incredibly happy for him. Buda Baker also had a congratulatory tweet. That is a lot of money for a guy who can barely see over his offensive line. I want to say that Kyler Murray has not, to me at least, done enough to earn this kind of contract. I don't necessarily view him as a franchise quarterback. To me, he is a very good quarterback.
Hold
on. Let me explain it. Let me explain it. The reason why I don't view him as a franchise quarterback is a couple of reasons. One, I don't think that he has had the body of work to be labeled a full-blown franchise quarterback just yet. If this was happening a year from now in next year's offseason and he had put together another good year, then I'd be like, all right, cool, because this is a 5-year contract with $160 million guaranteed. If last year or the year before was his peak, and we're showing that even with Cliff Kingsbury trying to pull his head out of his ass in the second half of the season, or adding pieces around him, like how they brought in Hollywood Brown, he still can't get the job done. Cutting him or trading him is costly. That's honestly like my big thing. It's not necessarily that he doesn't deserve a big contract. I don't know if he deserves the amount and the length. If it had been 4 years, $200 million, maybe a little less than $200 million, then it's a little bit more palatable to me. The other reason for this Kyler Murray thing being a little bit too, I don't know, something about it doesn't seem right, is they are going to have to start paying some people very soon. People like DeAndre Hopkins, his contract is going to be coming up. Some of those rookies that they've been drafting, their contract's going to be coming up. They traded Christian Kirk, or they released Christian Kirk and let him sign with the Jaguars, but they're going to have to start paying a lot of these guys. And the big issue is Cliff Kingsbury with this roster cannot seem to pull his head out of his ass in the back half of the season. If this collapse keeps happening for the Cardinals, what's the value of giving him all this money? I understand that, this is just the market for quarterbacks and that's just the way it goes, but it just doesn't, I don't know, something about it doesn't feel right. We'll go to JJ because apparently I'm completely off base.
Oh wow! I wasn't expecting to come on here and have such a first
only for you.
First show I'm on. Holy, hold on. We're talking about the same guy that has almost 12,000 passing yards for a rushing quarterback in 3 seasons. We're talking about the same quarterback that has 90 combined touchdowns in 3 seasons. We're talking about a quarterback that has almost 2,000 rushing yards in 3 seasons.
Oh yeah.
Kyler Murray is the reason the Arizona Cardinals are relevant right now. He's the reason they're relevant. They have a pretty good defense, yes. But this team ain't winning ball games if you can't put points on the board, and that's something that Kyler Murray is very good at. Not saying that he is, okay, he's not a championship quarterback yet, but you can maybe 5 in the league right now that are championship quarterbacks. So to say that Kyler Murray in this market, in this day and age, in 2022, when you got players that is getting the money that they're getting, this is the precedent that's been set. I mean, listen, they paid fucking Dak Prescott $160 million for 4 years.
Well, I mean, one bad contract doesn't mean that another one is
good.
But
this is going to justify the other contracts to follow. It's basically like how when you had these historic rookie contracts, when they had to break down the paywall and make them scaled because they were getting paid such an astronomical amount of money. This ain't no different here, because now this is going to set the precedent for Lamar Jackson when he gets paid, because he's going to get paid very soon. But to say Kyler Murray does not deserve this, not only Kyler Murray has been durable, he has been durable. So sorry?
Durable?
Yes. What am I missing? He's only missed 2 games his entire career.
Okay.
3 games. I apologize. 3 games because we had a 17-game season last year. He missed 3 games in 3 years. That's pretty durable for a quarterback that is always on the move.
So how good does he play when DeAndre Hopkins isn't around?
He only had DeAndre Hopkins for 1 season, mind you. Huh?
2. He
2
had
years?
2020, 2021.
So hold on, wait. So even when he didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, he threw for 3,800 yards. He had 24 passing touchdowns. He had an additional 5 touchdowns rushing. He had 29 touchdowns as a rookie.
Yes, so they had 5 wins though.
So they had 11 this year. They had 11 this past season. So
they had those wins when DeAndre Hopkins was around.
So DeAndre Hopkins is the reason the Arizona Cardinals are
successful. No. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that DeAndre Hopkins is the reason. My thing is, I don't know if Kyler is winning these games and winning the number of games that he's winning if Hopkins isn't there.
So when
I'm saying that
if you're a GM and you own the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, I'm giving him the contract because I have to.
That's the whole point of this.
No. And I said that. I said. I understand this is how contracts work these days, and so I have to give him that money. My thing is, I'm worried about the 5-year duration.
So he's not even going to be 30 years old when his first contract is up. When his first big contract is up. He's what, 24, 25 years old?
No, okay, but what I'm saying is, like, last year, at this time last year, if the Browns had given Baker Mayfield a huge contract coming off of the year that Baker had, people would have been like, okay, yeah, I can see it. It's justified, this, that, and the third. But now in hindsight, looking at what happened with Baker, they didn't get the job done. He got traded. He got shipped out of there. He lost the team.
Okay. if you ever put Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray again, I'm not saying
they're the same level of player. I'm not saying the same level of player. I'm saying the results.
You can't listen. There's 32 different franchises. You're going to get 32 different results. I am satisfied when my quarterback leads my team to 11 wins. That's what he led them to 11 wins. They did not win the division because obviously the LA Rams.
Well, he did 9. He had 9 wins.
The Arizona Cardinals had 11 wins, did they?
Yes, but those 3 games that he missed, 2 of them were won by the backup. He got 9 wins.
He missed 1 game.
No, last year he missed 3 games. They went 2-1 with the backup.
Right.
I think you're right. You're right about that. So hold on. He misses 3 games. Cool. You don't pay him?
You're missing. I think you're missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't pay the guy. My thing is I'm looking at the long-term effect on the team. If anything happens with him where he has peaked, let's say he has peaked. Even he may regress, he may do better. But let's say this is where he's at. Where he's at is showing that they are not winning playoff games. And then you're stuck with him for those 5 years.
He's been in the league 3 years. His completion percentage has gone up every year. Don't you want that for a quarterback?
Of course.
That means he knows how to throw the ball. So
I'm
basically in this day and age in the NFL, with these players getting these ridiculous contracts. Look, man, we didn't bat an eye when we saw a man get paid over $400 million. So this is.
I feel like
different level, right? Different level, right?
Are you comparing Kyler to Pat Mahomes?
Different level, right? Different level, right? So you see how blasphemous that was?
No.
So the fact that even Baker Mayfield can even enter this conversation.
I'm not. No. I'm not saying that I was not saying they were the same
But
level.
I'm not saying they're the same either. That's what I'm not saying they're the same. But I'm saying the money that these quarterbacks are getting, this contract is not
Patrick Mahomes is $400 million is spread out over 10 years, and it's team friendly.
It's still $40 million average a year, and this contract
it's still a team friendly deal because they're able to void out the majority of that money if they decide if his play starts going down.
So
the Chiefs actually were very smart in how they structured the contract.
So I'm taking that your issue is the guaranteed money that he got because he got 160 guaranteed out of the 231
and the 5 years. That's all.
You know why he got all that guaranteed money is because Deshaun Watson's contract.
I see what you're saying with the 5 years. I kind of understand you a little bit, but I would probably, if I were in your shoes, I would probably have a bigger gripe with that 160 guaranteed. Like even that within 5 years, that's still over 30. That's like $32 million a year.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
No, I'm saying both. It's the guaranteed money and it's the 5 years.
Yeah. So
let me weigh in on this, guys, because I haven't got a chance to speak.
Go for it.
I fall somewhere in between both of you guys are saying. By the way, I thought it was hilarious that the annual salary was only like 100,000 more than what Deshaun Watson's getting per year.
Yeah,
like make sure you get that in there. Make sure you get that I'm above Deshaun Watson. The quarterback, they always do that with the new deals. Lamar Jackson is going to do that to probably Kyler Murray. He's the second highest paid quarterback. We're going to do our top 10 quarterbacks later on. He's not like top 3 or top 5 for me. I'll say where he is later on. But I understand the Cardinals have to pay their guy. They have to pay their quarterback. They have to hold on to him because, what's the other solution? Who else are you going to get? Russell Wilson has already been traded for. You're going to trade for Jimmy G? Probably not. Kyler Murray is their guy, and they got to build around him. Now, that's going to be tough. You're paying him so much money. That's going to be tough. And I don't have faith in the Cardinals to do that anyway. I think if we don't see some radical improvement here from the Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury will definitely be on his way out. He'll be the fall guy. It won't be Kyler. It'll be Cliff Kingsbury. And they'll try to get a new coach in there and try to fix shit up. He's got DeAndre Hopkins. He's got the number 1 wide receiver. He's got the threat there. They got rid of Kirk and replaced him with who was it? Marquise Brown, right?
Yeah,
Hollywood
Brown. Yep.
I think Kyler has much to prove, especially with that contract right there.
Absolutely.
If I were a betting man, I'll say he doesn't live up to that. But I understand what the Cardinals had to do.
And speaking of having to pay people and build a team around him, I just looked at their 2023 free agents. It's most of their offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to be creative with this money to shuffle it around to try to keep some level of cohesion around him when it comes to who's protecting him. Because a lot of the time, especially in that first year and that second year, he was running for his life.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started getting better last year. And that's part of what helped him to keep improving that completion rate. But if you now have to start paying these people, look, it's one of the, like, I've never been, we know this. I'm not a Tom Brady fan whatsoever. But one thing that Tom Brady did that was very smart was he always took incredibly team-friendly deals, made his money on the back end with endorsements. He gave the team the money it needed to build around him. And that is something that is incredibly smart. And now next year, they're going to have to start paying all these offensive line guys, and they're going to have to figure out how to pay them. This is a problem. That's the way I'm looking at it. Not from, like whether in the pecking order of quarterbacks he needs to get it or not. I'm looking at it from you need to win holistically as a team.
Yeah.
And if you're paying one person, like for example, if Patrick Mahomes, to your point about $400 million, if he had taken a little bit less and they had kept Tyreek Hill, maybe that would have worked out better in the long term than him being paid more. I mean, what's an extra $20 million when you're making $380 at that point?
Yeah.
You kept Tyreek Hill, it would have been better for the team. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, and you're not wrong with your GM hat. You're not wrong.
That's how I look at football.
No, and you're with your GM hat. You're absolutely right. At the same time, when you have a 25-year-old quarterback that has shown all of these flashes, he can't go nowhere, and you got to make him happy. And he was their number one pick, and it paid off.
I'm just hoping that Kyler doesn't get fired, and then he doesn't have a brand new coach and offensive coordinator.
My take is that Kyler Murray has the ball. Kyler Murray's got a ball.
Oh yeah.
Like that's my take is he's got a ball. Like he's got to go up from here. The trajectory has to go only up, and I'm taking it that he's going to do that. I mean, listen, Marquise Brown is no slouch of a wide receiver one while DeAndre Hopkins is out. So that's he's gonna be out. And keep in mind, he got Zach Ertz. He still has Zach Ertz on his team. And Zach Ertz, as soon as he got traded over there, fit in like a glove.
That's true.
He helped my fantasy team.
Glove. You know what I mean? So I understand the takes. And Kyler Murray, he got his bread. I don't want to hear a peep from him for the next 5 years.
Right?
I want to hear a peep from him.
Better leave your social media alone, pal.
And that's the last part about this is that he acted like a child and they rewarded him.
Hey,
I mean, what position or what? It's kind of like it's just the way the league is. You're not going to get
a new wave of athlete.
You're not going to get your Tom Brady's. You're not going to get your Brett Favre's. You're not going to get those guys that took deals to help the team.
Like
that
day
and age is honestly over. Look, dude, Tom Brady
would never do this shit.
Tom Brady's been getting these little small contracts, bro, since he's in his early 30s. So he has a system that he's been doing this for over a decade. And his wallets is just fine. And his wife's wallets are just fine. So they are good. So it's like, I get it. But at the same time, it's like Kyler Murray doesn't have as much endorsements as Tom Brady. Kyler Murray doesn't have as much deals going on to make that outside money yet. It's coming. It's coming. But, I mean, I don't have an issue with the contract. It's just the way the NFL is now. And he just got a ball now. He just got to shut up and ball. I mean, you don't want to say shut up and ball, but dude, you got that money you got, bro, ball.
Let me read some comments and then we can move on. What is up, Armand? What is up, ALW? What is up, Safet? Thank you all for joining us. Nick Jackson's in the chat. ALW, I don't think Kyler is worth it. He's okay, but they overpaid. Blue says Kyler Murray's feet don't touch the ground when he sits at the table to eat dinner. Nick Jackson, I'm more of a casual football fan. I think Kyler's good, but I don't really think he's necessarily worth that much currently, though. The one and only AK, Hop was hurt part of the year. And you, my boy Blue, I will not stand for any Baker Mayfield slander.
Well,
he's a Panthers fan.
I hope you're sitting down.
You lucky we ain't talking about NFC South today.
We will. We'll get to that. What's up, Frantic World?
We will be keeping it in the NFC West for a little bit because Jimmy Garoppolo has requested permission to seek a trade, and the 49ers have granted to him. This has been you want to talk about crazy contracts. They signed him and paid him all that money off of a 6-game a window frame. And they made a Super Bowl. They didn't win it, but that's been an interesting contract to see if that played out properly or not. But let's talk about where we see Jimmy G potentially going. It's a huge contract. If I remember right, his cap hit this year is like $18 million. So I'm assuming that whoever trades for him, if they're interested, they will be eating the majority of that contract, and maybe they can convince the Niners to keep a little bit of that money being paid to Garoppolo. But a couple of takeaways is, one, it looks like Trey Lance is definitely going to be the guy, which is making things really interesting considering that NFC West is a two contender team with the Rams and the aforementioned Cardinals. And two, where do we see Jimmy Garoppolo going? Romeo, we'll start with you. If any team will be willing to trade for him.
I do think he's got to go. I think. Well, let me see. Who needs a quarterback?
Besides Seattle, for sure. Because I don't think they're going to do an in-division trade.
Yeah.
I have a team when you pick yours.
Who's in Atlanta?
Mariota.
They drafted I think Ritter.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't know why Mariota's starting.
It's his second chance. Second and probably final chance.
He's an upgrade over Carson Wentz in Washington. I don't know why he's starting.
Well, they just got him, so I don't know if they're going to be willing to. It's a weird.
Houston's not good. Houston wants Mills to get those reps. No, it's hard to find a spot, really.
Yeah.
What did you have in mind, JJ?
I think it's easy. You trade him to the Houston Texans. You trade him to the. I know they want Patty Mills to get run, but who the fuck is Patty Mills? I'm just saying. Like, at the end of the day, you're trying to win ball games, and if you have your chance to get your hands on a veteran, an established veteran, although he has major durability issues, he has major durability issues. He will also have to then prove himself if he gets traded off to a team where he becomes insert starter. I think the Houston Texans is the team that I see that's an easy glove fit. You slide him in, he beats out Patty Mills right away, and he becomes a starter.
I found the spot. You said Patty Mills. Patty Mills is the NBA player. It's Davis.
Sorry,
Mills.
whoever the fuck this Mills guy is.
I found the spot.
He's not a lock. He's not a lock for any starting job.
I found the spot. When Commissioner Goodell announces that Deshaun Watson is suspended for the year, Cleveland's going to need someone better than Brissett.
Well, that's why they signed Josh Rosen.
He's not even better. That's funny. And, the Cleveland's not paying anything this year to Deshaun Watson, so they could find some money somewhere later.
And they could give Amari Cooper an immediate quarterback, so that would be a good fit too.
Instead of the season being wasted, you put in effort.
Yeah, you
Jimmy
don't pay
only 1 year.
You don't bring in Amari Cooper and waste that year completely.
Jimmy G's a mercenary, just like Matt Ryan is for the Colts.
I don't think they signed Amari Cooper to that long of a deal.
But he's there. You know what I mean?
I'm saying to your point about wasting
good receiver. He's a very good receiver. He's there.
Oh no, it is. It is a long deal. Holy shit.
The Colts is riding Matt Ryan. That he ain't going nowhere.
Cooper is all the way till 2024.
Oh, because he got traded. He got traded.
Yeah.
So it's part of the original 5-year deal that he signed with the Cowboys. So there's 3 years left on it, 22, 23, and 24. So they got him for 3 more years. Yeah,
Ages 28, 29, 30.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to waste one of those years either. And
Also,
also,
where do you think he's going, StatKing?
Oof. I'm probably going to agree with JJ and go with the Texans because, I mean, I don't – if the Texans – but the thing is, I guess the question is, the Texans think that with Garoppolo, the rest of the roster can't compete. That's, to me, the question. Because if the answer is yes, then, yeah, trade for him. But if it's not, then I wouldn't bother because the trade is going to involve you giving up the draft picks that you're going to need as part of your rebuild. So the Texans probably make the most sense depending on how they feel about their roster. But they didn't – I mean, unless they really believe in that Davis Mills guy, they did not really do that much to improve.
I don't think he goes there because I don't think the Texans are going to be good even with him. Like, they're not going to be close to contending. We're going to do our preview later on, but that's just
sorry, Davis Mills.
I think Cleveland benefits more because they have a stronger team.
Yeah, they do. And they got that three-headed monster at running back. They got a pretty good tight end in David Njoku. They got Kareem Hunt. They got Nick Chubb, and they got Dearness Johnson. So you got a loaded roster there with talent. And they could always throw Kareem Hunt at the wide receiver because he's a hell of a pass catcher. So
it wouldn't be that unfamiliar for Garoppolo based off of how the Niners use their running backs.
Right.
The Browns don't use them in the same exact scheme, but they do rely pretty heavily on the run, which opens up play action for them. So yeah, I can see the Browns also being a good option depending on what that suspension is.
I like the Cleveland choice as well. Yeah, that's a good choice as well.
Let me read some comments here. ALW. We know Jimmy was not the guy for San Fran, but are we sure Trey Lance is? Jimmy wasn't terrible, just can't stay healthy.
San Fran thinks Trey Lance is. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he is based off of what we saw, but man,
Trey Lance is gonna have to learn to throw the football in the NFL. That's bottom line, point blank. Like he ain't gonna be able to run for 1,000 yards and be successful in that division.
Blue says Seattle, Houston, Atlanta, Jets, Giants. You know what? The Giants they're going to go with Daniel Jones this year, but next year Jimmy G will be a free agent, and that might be someone they look at.
Yeah, because he'll probably be cheaper. He'll have to take a cheaper deal.
The Giants aren't a terrible option. Jets, he ain't going to the Jets. They riding with Zach Wilson. The Jets aren't a terrible option either because it depends on how they feel about Daniel Jones. He's another durability issue quarterback. So you gotta see.
Absolutely, guys. So we will. Oh, you still got more comments?
Let's see. Armand says the Steelers, even with Trubisky and Pickett, should consider porn star Jimmy.
Yeah, you're not going to draft a 24-year-old rookie.
Yeah, I don't know
and
about
not get him under center at some point. Yeah, that he's 24 already.
Like they're probably going to have Pickett be playing like meaningful snaps this year, as opposed to leaving everything in the hands of Trubisky.
Probably midway through the first year after the Steelers are like 2-5 with Trubisky.
What are the chances Jimmy G goes nowhere?
Very high.
Just backs up
Very possible.
Yeah,
very possible. The thing is that you got to realize that Jimmy G has such a heavy contract, and as StatKing alluded to earlier, the team that trades for him is going to eat like 75 to 80% of his contract. So obviously he'll get traded with cash considerations. That's not going to be a lot to handle that kind of money. And yeah, I just don't see much on the offer sheet for Jimmy G, but I think we've nailed some pretty solid teams.
Yeah, they'd have to be like win now teams because they're going to be giving up draft picks on top of the money.
Bill Belichick ain't touching them.
Yeah, Belichick's happy with Mac Jones.
He loves Mac Jones, and Mac Jones. There's a reason you love Mac. Mac Jones is a damn quarterback.
He says, hand the football off. Mac Jones is like, absolutely, I got this.
I agree with what Chase is saying here. Trey Lance has a higher ceiling than Jimmy. We know what Jimmy G is.
Well, yeah, I think that's why he's seeking the trade because he knows that he's capped already. There's no getting better for Jimmy G. This is who you're getting.
And the thing is, the Niners are probably comfortable as fuck just leaving him on the roster because they were comfortable last year leaving him on the roster, even though they really wanted Trey Lance to start. Their plans were for him to start, and then it just wasn't developing there in training camps. They were like, all right, break in case of emergency, Jimmy G, go out there. And then Jimmy got hurt. Trey Lance had to come in. We saw what happened there with Trey Lance's audition.
Abomination.
So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having as a backup quarterback a guy who helped get you to a Super Bowl. There's really, I mean, I can't think of anything wrong there. So we'll have to see how this all.
I mean, quick flip then. So do you think the San Francisco 49ers tries to trade Jimmy G with some aggression so he's not that shadow lingering over Trey Lance as he's kind of looking over his shoulder anytime he makes bad plays?
That's right. Trey Lance is gonna know you keep fucking up. They'll throw Jimmy G in there because San Fran does have a competitive team.
I mean, I like to think that iron sharpens iron. So I'd rather have the guy there and look at the rookie and be like, you don't want to put in the extra time watching film. You don't want to put in that extra time at practice. This guy is right here.
You're absolutely
we're already paying him.
You're absolutely
we
right.
Easily just move you off a center.
If you can't handle competition, you should not be in this league.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can move on, StatKing.
And speaking of competition,
unless you got something else to say.
Oh no. Speaking of competition, the competition for quarterback, as we're talking about here, both of the news items are about quarterbacks, is the fiercest in the NFL because it is the most important position in the entire game and for a very good reason. And with that in mind, as part of their top 10 lists, ESPN asked insiders, scouts, coaches, people in management, all the behind the scenes people in the NFL who they considered to be the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. And as a result, we have their definitive top 10 list. Now, the three gentlemen here made their own top 10 lists as well. And we are going to
They are different. They are
definitely different. And we are going to throw them all up here for you guys to take a look at. Let's see. Hopefully this is formatted correctly. Boom. There we go.
Bam.
So ESPN has Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Burrow, Stafford, Herbert, Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and Dak Prescott.
And look at this. We all have the same first one.
We all have the same first one. Josh Allen. Then Romeo's homerism comes in. Then Romeo's homerism comes in.
Now, if it were homerism, I'd put him number one. I put him number one if it were home.
Fine. LSUism, whatever you want to call it. He's got Joe Burrow. Top guy and I both have Patrick Mahomes. Then Romeo has Herbert. Top guy and I both have Aaron Rodgers. Then Romeo puts in Patrick Mahomes. I put in Joe Burrow. Top guy has Lamar Jackson's. That's a typo on my part. Romeo has Aaron Rodgers. Then I have Herbert. Then top guy is Herbert. Deshaun Watson, Stafford, Tom Brady, Brady, Wilson, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. I will say the only reason why I did not include Deshaun Watson is because we just have not seen him play. I'm sure he is absolutely amazing at being a quarterback still. However, we just have not seen him in such a long time. I don't think it was fair to really be able to rank him against everybody in the league who's taking snaps. That's the only reason why I didn't include him.
I included him just in case Goodell doesn't suspend him for the whole year. And he does.
I didn't include him because I don't think he's playing this year.
Yo, I mean, imagine he doesn't.
He shouldn't.
But imagine he doesn't. Imagine he barely gets suspended, and meanwhile, there's I forgot the guy's name. That Atlanta wide receiver who bet on the game while he was injured. And he got suspended. Yeah, Calvin Ridley, and he got suspended for an entire season.
Oh my goodness!
But anyway, let's talk about some of the big discrepancies. So Romeo has Burrow and Herbert very high, and
the kids are all right in this league.
And top guy has Lamar Jackson very high, whereas Romeo doesn't even have him included. And I'll tell you why at number 10.
I'll tell you why.
So.
I'll tell you why on all these things. Where should I start?
If you wanted to start with, I mean, you can go with Burrow and Herbert.
Listen, Burrow went to the damn Super Bowl with barely an offensive line, barely, and now this offseason they've addressed the offensive line. So you can only imagine how much more comfortable and better Joe Burrow is going to be this year. He's the man. Herbert's amazing too, and the Chargers have upgraded as well on offense. Now Mahomes, Here's why I ranked him a little bit lower. I think that Tyreek Hill loss is going to hurt a lot. I think it's going to hurt a lot. And I don't even think the Chiefs have locked up their left tackle yet as far as training camp goes. I'm not positive about that.
Top guy, you have Lamar Jackson very high compared to myself and Romeo, who doesn't have him in the top 10. Why do you feel so strongly about Lamar Jackson?
Well, you do have Lamar in your top 10, sir. He's right there.
I said I have him, and I said Romeo doesn't at all.
Romeo's on something. That's why.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Go ahead, please elaborate.
Because the Baltimore Ravens don't care about Lamar Jackson. They don't get this guy wide receivers. They're like, you know what, Lamar? Why don't you just run? Go ahead, run. You'll be all right. We don't need to get you any wide receivers. They ship Hollywood Brown out of town. They don't care about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has all the talent. All the talent. This is not based on talent. This is based on what we're going to see this year. And the Ravens they don't care. They don't care about changing up their offense even a smidge.
Just for the record,
help Lamar Jackson.
Just for the record, the Ravens had
aren't making the playoffs.
Say that again. You were both talking.
According to this list, the Ravens aren't making the playoffs either.
They might. Hey, who knows? They might not.
Fun fact, though, guys. The Baltimore Ravens had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 draft picks. Did not draft a wide receiver. They drafted two tight ends. They drafted two tight ends when they have Mark Andrews, but they did not draft a wide receiver.
If you're a Ravens fan, you got to be infuriated. You see all these other GMs helping out their young quarterbacks. They don't help Lamar Jackson.
Also, they did not sign a wide receiver.
Exactly.
During free
they traded one away. It's bad, man. Lamar Jackson has the talent. Lamar Jackson doesn't have the help from his front office.
So I do think so they're obviously putting a lot of baskets in Rashad Bateman. He was in first round pick. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Was it last year?
Last year.
So he was a top draft pick. They literally have he's arguably the best tight end in football. Obviously, you got Travis Kelce knocking at that door saying, I still got some time left. But what Lamar Jackson does, there's not a person alive that can do it. Like alive. There's not a person alive that can do what that man does with as little as he is given. So that's why he is so respected in my book, because I've seen not only what he does to just the AFC competition in general, I've seen what he did to my Titans. I've seen what he's done and what he's been able to do. The only place he needs to show up at is the playoffs. He needs to show up in the playoffs, and he needs to play a little bit better in that aspect. But getting there, dude, Lamar Jackson is like you putting basically whoever you want to put, and you put any defense on Lamar Jackson. I got to take Lamar Jackson's talent. Lamar Jackson is that special to me.
To his credit, I will say that last year they lost in the span of 2 days, they lost RB1, RB2, and RB3. And they're going to get all three of those guys back. So I think the runs, the sneak runs, all of that stuff is going to be in full-fledged grandeur with how they want to scheme this up to happen. So I think it can work out, but at some point you got to throw that ball. You got to throw that ball.
They obviously think Lamar's going to make these wide receivers.
He can throw the football. He can throw the ball. So
there's got to be somebody there to catch it.
Hollywood Brown is going to be a big loss, and that's probably the most notable thing about this whole Ravens roster is Marquise Brown not being there, because that was a chunk of Lamar Jackson's tosses. Because Marquise Brown throw that deep ball wherever that shit is at, Marquise is getting it. Like Marquise is basically on Tyreek Hill's level when it comes to just downfield speed. Like that man can just straight fly, but he's gone. So he has to prove himself. So again, he just got to prove himself again this year to not only earn the highest contract in NFL history, because that's probably what he's aiming for, because that's probably why this negotiation is taking so damn long to get him paid, because he's looking at probably like Patrick Mahomes money, and like that's my target right there. But he's got to realize he hasn't played in an AFC championship game yet. So he needs to get there. And then you start to throw in that bag. You start to throw in that security, because right now that's his only hiccup is he has not played in the big stage yet.
And bro, it's not going to happen. You got Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Pat Mahomes. Those teams are better.
Yeah, of course.
Those teams are better right now.
I mean, I can't argue. I'm not going to argue. I mean, Joe Burrow is like the freaking best quarterback in the league to you. So just, sheesh.
Can you throw up the list again? I want to mention one other thing.
It's just insane that you have Joe Burrow over Patrick Mahomes. Like that is
I told you why.
Insane. Like that's
I told
insane.
you why. Listen, Pat Mahomes lost a major piece in Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
And I'll tell you who else lost a piece. Aaron Rodgers. That Devontae Adams is going to hurt. And that's Devontae Adams is why I put Carr in this list. I don't think Carr's a top 10 QB, but Carr's going to have Adams, Renfro, and Waller. He has to be a top 10 QB this year. He has to be just on those three alone. He has to be.
I put Derek Carr in there because of the addition of Devontae Adams and because he's in the most competitive division.
But he has a bigger hiccup.
He's going to have to throw.
He has yet to win a playoff game. Like he has to win.
Listen, I quite famously don't like Derek Carr. So
that's why I had him at 12 because I do have Dak Prescott at 11. So he's right there, but he has to win a playoff game, like a playoff game.
JJ, one thing I just want to ask your opinion on is
can I elaborate on that first though?
Oh, sure.
Before you change the subject, they should have beat the Bengals in the playoffs. They should have beat them.
But that don't even.
No, I know.
Don't because I could say the same thing about what my Titans should have done, and that
they should have too.
It didn't happen.
I know that
you know
too.
what I'm saying?
I know
like,
that
it didn't happen.
I know. I'm not taking it away from the Bengals, but you add Devontae Adams to what they already had.
It's a dude. He can easily.
He better win a playoff game.
To the top. He could be a Pro Bowl quarterback this year, but that's going to be a hell of a hill to climb because of the three that's up top. But he's got a shot. He has a shot. When you got Darren Waller and Devontae Adams and that dog Hunter Renfro that nobody seems to give his flowers to, Hunter Renfro is a fucking dog. Like Hunter Renfro is like basically, I see him. He's like that modern day Wes Welker. Like he's that dog that can run any route, go to any spot, catch any ball, and take the hit, get back up, get in the line. Let's do it again.
He was holding down that entire offense after Ruggs, did what Ruggs did. So he definitely earned a lot of credit from me this past year, particularly because I've never been that big of a Raiders fan and I've never been that big of a Carr fan. But Hunter Renfro really showed up when they needed him to, and if he gets a big contract, I'd be like he earned it. But JJ,
what were we going to ask Top Guy?
Let me ask you this question. Now, remember, ESPN's list was put together from scouts, GMs, coaches, management, all that kind of fun stuff. It's interesting. They don't have Kyler Murray in their top 10.
They don't have Kyler Murray in their top 10 because they have Deshaun Watson in their top 10.
So the way their honorable mentions list
and Dak.
Yeah, their honorable mentions started with Lamar Jackson, and then it was Kyler Murray. So even if we pulled out Deshaun Watson, it would have been Lamar over Kyler getting in there.
And look, the only reason I'm telling you, like Joe Burrow can easily catapult into top 5 literally this year. It's just been 1 year. That's why it's 1 year. It's 1 year. So that I just want to see it happen again. And then Joe Burrow is literally she's gonna shoot up that list if he does it again.
You're gonna see it. You heard it here first. You're gonna see
that's all I'm saying. He has to do it again.
Jamar Chase helps.
Because listen,
1455 receiving.
T. Higgins helps. Tyler Boyd helps.
And then to give Joe Burrow his love too, he did this shit in the AFC. Like he did this shit in the AFC. He went through Derek Carr. He went through my Titans, and he also went through what was it? The Bengals went through the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like, and
I thought they could have went through the Rams, but Aaron Donald
barely lost to the Rams.
Aaron Donald made the difference.
If it wasn't for fucking Cooper Kupp turning into Super Saiyan.
Hey, like, that man deserved that Super Bowl MVP, if anybody did. But guys, this brings us to our main topic, and the one that I thought was going to get way more arguments than Kyler Murray. My thoughts on Kyler Murray's contract. But the night is young. There's still time. Romeo and I did a win-loss record for what we think the AFC South will do. And here are the results, and I'm sure JJ is going to have some issues with this.
The fucking Colts. Wait. Pause. Hold on. What? So the Colts are going to get a three. They're going to get a 3-win improvement.
I'm going to explain. Let me explain my side
first.
Let me explain my side first.
Our sides might be the same.
Up until like maybe 5 hours ago, I had the Titans winning the division, but Romeo brought up something to me that was really interesting. So I'm going to let him explain that one. But I do want to say that I had the Titans in the lead, basically these exact records pretty much flipped. I will say that I probably am giving the Texans more credit than I should and not giving the Jaguars as much credit as I should, considering how much money the Jaguars spent in the offseason, pretty much all of it on Christian Kirk. But I feel pretty comfortable that those two are going to be absolute dog shit, generally speaking, for the entirety of the season. So I'm not too worried about that.
This is a tale of two teams, and this is another tale of another two teams.
Yeah, I know. I just feel as though the Texans have the ability to win like one more game than they won last year. And the Jaguars, a part of me just needs to see what's going to happen when Travis Etienne comes back. He had a Liz Frank injury, which is not a death knell for running backs, but it's pretty bad for running backs, and it can affect how you run, how you're able to cut. So I don't know if he will necessarily be what they were hoping for when they drafted him. And James Robinson has starting to pick up a couple injuries here and there. So I don't know if adding Christian Kirk is really the answer for the Jaguars. And I think they but of course, I mean, we all know the Jaguars should improve realistically, right? Because they signed Romeo's favorite tight end, Evan Engram. So, but Romeo, I'll let you give the argument in defense of the Colts being the division leader, and then we'll let JJ completely shred it.
All right, so here's what I love about the Colts. I'll start with the Colts, and then I'll go to the Titans. The Colts. I find it funny that the Colts have gone the mercenary way of quarterbacks. You know, they had Phillip Rivers, then they went to Carson Wentz, and I was like, "Oh shit, we gotta get rid of that guy." And now they got Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan is an upgrade from Carson Wentz, so they're already better than last year in the quarterback position. Remember, Ryan hardly had any wide receiver help last year. With Julio was out of town, Calvin Ridley, we know what happened to him. It was mostly Kyle Pitts for Matt Ryan last year. Michael Pittman Jr. has arrived. He had 88 catches last year for 1,000 yards in his sophomore season. The two magic words, Jonathan Taylor, the best running back in football. A touchdown machine, 21 touchdowns, over 2K yards, rushing and receiving. The Colts, my friend, are going to get 3 more wins, mostly off of the upgrade in quarterback and Jonathan Taylor. How are you going to stop him? Now on to the Titans.
Okay.
They downgraded. Yes, you're getting Derrick Henry back. And Derrick Henry will probably be Derrick Henry. But who's Ryan Tannehill throwing to now? It's not A.J. Brown. He's gone. He is gone. You got Robert Woods now, coming off a torn ACL, turning 30 years old. Austin Hooper, not anything to get excited about. The first round pick, Treylon Burks, he's got a lot to live up to, and he's got to live up to it quickly. And he already got off to a slow start in the offseason workouts, battling asthma. That doesn't sound good. Battling asthma? A wide receiver? Asthma? That's not
April and May. He's talking about April and May, guys.
This is not.
I just want to preference what he's talking about. April and May. He's talking about.
Does asthma only happen in the spring?
Rookie camp. Go ahead. Finish.
The defense is still in good shape, but Janoris Jenkins is gone. They drafted Caleb Farley.
Oh,
Jack Rabbit.
So
yeah,
he's the one that gave up plays.
Caleb Farley coming off a torn ACL.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna give you some education when you're done.
Listen, Henry returns, but with the downgrades at wide receiver, and you already have Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, was not all that to get excited about anyways. The Titans take a step back. That's all. They're in the wild card race still. They're in the hunt. Not like they're saying they can't be in the playoffs. But the Colts are better this year.
I gave the edge to the Colts because they're going to be able to do a little bit more ball control against opponents with Taylor. Now that they have people they can actually throw to, adding in Pittman showing up and becoming a player, and they drafted a rookie wide receiver in the first round as well, who's supposed to be pretty good from what I understand. Not like the greatest, but he can fit in there as a role piece as well. All right, JJ, we've teed you up long enough. Go for it.
So I'm gonna allow this because clearly there's a lot of people that don't know the Tennessee Titans roster. So I completely understand this. When you lose a superstar like AJ Brown, that has two bad knees, I don't think anybody even knows that that's the case. That we lost Julio Brown that can't get out of a practice without hurting his hamstring. Our team, even though Robert Woods is already practicing, have you not saw that already? We're going off torn ACL. Yes, he had a torn ACL, but he's already back on the field running, cutting, and practicing. And we're in July. So I don't have any doubts of him being ready in week 1.
You like him more than AJ Brown?
That's no, I don't. AJ Brown was literally my second favorite Titan. So I'm not going to sit here and say that AJ Brown is not a huge loss, but I know the money that he was demanding, we weren't going to pay it. He got $100 million from the Eagles, and he barely cracked 1,000 yards one season. So I know how our team operates. So Janoris Jenkins, dime. He's a dime secondary player. He barely plays in the nickel, so he's not going to be felt at all. We have two of the best safeties in all of football, and Amani Hooker and Kevin Byard. I don't think anybody knows about this. Clearly, we're getting back a fully healthy Bud Dupree. The fact that we have these two dogs on the D line with Jeffrey Simmons and Danico Autry. That line is ferocious. People's not going to understand this because a lot of people don't know my team, and I understand this. Our offensive line is still fully intact. We're getting back Derrick Henry fully healthy. Ball control is going to be done by us. So that's our team. We get up 10, 14 points. We kill that clock with Derrick Henry. He might break one and score again. That's the philosophy of our team. Our team never has relied on Ryan Tannehill to throw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns for us to win ball games. Our defense is going to be not only healthier, it's actually going to be better because we're getting Caleb Farley back healthy. More stuff for us. And so I understand that the Colts and Titans are going to have the Colts and Titans are going to have a tighter race this year. I will say that. So I only pick a 1-game difference because I know what the Colts are bringing. So I go 11-6. I go 11-6 for the Titans, and I'm going 10-7 for the Colts. It's going to come down to the end of the season. It's not going to be like this landslide. We're going to blow away the division. It's over. I don't think people are giving the Jacksonville Jaguars enough notoriety. The Jacksonville Jaguars, with Trevor Lawrence in year 2, getting back Travis Etienne at running back, having the roster that they have, I see them winning 6-7 games this year. And that's going to hurt some teams in the AFC because they're going to pull some wild upsets on some people, and people is just not going to understand it. If the Texans win 2 games, they're lucky. They're lucky if they win 2 games if they don't pull a miraculous trade. I'm just letting y'all know this. Y'all need to look out for Amani Hooker. Y'all need to look out for Christian Fulton. Christian Fulton is one of the best corners in the league that no one knows about yet. So
LSU go Tigers.
Our defense is going to be fucking ferocious.
So
go ahead.
So Romeo didn't do a week by week breakdown. I did. Oh, you did. Oh, okay. Okay, well, you did. Okay, send it to me so I can make the cool graph.
Oh no, I didn't write it out though.
That's what I
just did it in my head.
You could beat a week to week breakdown, and most of it is probably going to be wrong. Because
that's why I want to ask you. So I ended up giving the Titans 7 losses, At Buffalo. Raiders at home.
Who beat them.
At Colts.
Swept them.
At Kansas City.
Beat them.
Denver. Bengals.
Okay.
At Chargers. So if as soon as I started listing them, you're like, we're gonna beat them. We're gonna beat them. I put them at 10 and 7. And you're saying they're gonna be 11 and 6.
I picked 11 and 6 because there will be some losses in there. So if we're gonna lose, at Buffalo, that's gonna be a tough one. That's gonna be a tough one at Buffalo. Every other team on the road, that's an even field to me. Because we had one of the best road records in the league last year, if you paid attention to that. So do y'all not realize? So when we
that was part of Romeo's argument about losing AJ Brown.
We went to Los Angeles, and the Super Bowl champion scored 12 or 13 points. I need you're not understanding the fact that my team's defense is not only going to be better, but we're going to be a lot healthier. So I think the preference is not basically saying that we ain't going to score no points, which is complete BS.
I'm not saying because scoring points.
So 6 losses. I'm acknowledging that we're not going to sit there. We're not going to sweep the league. That's not going to happen. We're going to catch some tough losses, and that's the nature of the beast. There's no way in hell I see the Indianapolis Colts winning 12 football games. 12. The Colts haven't done that since fucking Andrew Luck. So, and you're here tell me that Matt Ryan at 36, going on 37 years old, is anywhere the caliber of Andrew fucking Luck? Like this is insane. The fact that
Andrew Luck,
but like you said,
Luck was doing that
like
with T.Y. Hilton. Who else did he have?
Like you said, he doesn't even have to be Andrew Luck.
He basically only had one.
He has Jonathan Taylor, who is as good as Derrick Henry is.
I will say off rip, Jonathan Taylor is the second best running back in the league.
There you go, 1 and 2.
I will say
however
that
you want to put him, 1 and 2.
If there's no way on God's green earth, I am putting him over any Derrick Henry.
I don't expect you to.
Derrick Henry had one injury, and he's already knocked off pegs. And he came back the same year. He came back in the same year. So it's not like he missed the entire season. He came back the same year.
How many carries has he had in the last 3 years? 1,000? That was a little sarcasm.
Going to be 20. So again, we're gonna school y'all a little bit. His first 2 years in the season, he was led by DeMarco Murray. So his first 2 years were basically a wash. He didn't start playing relevant football until he was 25. So basically 3 strong years of carries. Yes, he's had a lot of carries in those 3 years, but we're talking about 3 years. You're talking. Do you know what Derrick Henry is?
JJ, that was sarcasm, brother. That was sarcasm, brother.
No,
I know he's gonna have a good year. I
ain't taking no slander, no sarcasm, none of this shit. and reason being is because the minute we take a lead, Derrick Henry is the bell cow that is going to smash the team to win the game. That's been our philosophy. Our philosophy has never been rely on Ryan Tannehill. It's never been that. Ryan Tannehill can cost us games, which he did in the divisional round, which he did. That's the only game people fucking paid any attention to. Didn't realize that he was a part of the reason we won 12 games last year. And y'all got to understand how hard it is to win 12 games in the NFL. And to give that to the Indianapolis Colts in year 1 of this experiment with Matt Ryan is crazy. Year 1 at 36, gonna be 37.
That's see it, man.
Big talk for a guy that didn't even make the playoffs in Atlanta last year.
He had one person to throw to.
Kyle Pitts, that's it.
I need to see. So the Atlanta Falcons went 7-10 last
year. He had one person to throw to.
Yeah.
How many people he has to throw to in Indianapolis? He has Michael Pittman Jr., which is phenomenal. He's phenomenal. So we're going to bank on Mo Alley Cox. we're going to bank on Jonathan Taylor catching 80 balls? That's what we're doing? I'm just trying to understand.
I only have them winning 2 more games than you say. You say you have them winning 10 games.
I'll wait. Who's the number 2 receiver on the Colts?
We got Paris Campbell. We got Alec Pearson.
Yes, Paris Campbell.
Are y'all fucking serious right now? Like, who? Who?
Hey,
I'll take Pittman over anyone the Titans are throwing to.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm taking Pittman over any of them.
But so 1 good receiver and 1 phenomenal running back. Jonathan
That's more
Taylor
than what the Titans have.
Amazing.
That's more than what the Titans have.
Wait, hold on. So last year, that's exactly what the Colts had last year.
Yes.
And they had Carson Wentz, and they went 9-8. All we're saying is that with a better quarterback, they win 3 more games.
So Matt Ryan is an instant 25% improvement.
Over Carson Wentz?
Yes, over Carson Wentz, yes.
You got all right. So listen.
Come on, man. Come on.
Carson Wentz stinks.
I'm talking to 2 motherfucking walls right now. I'm talking.
No, I understand. No, I completely understand what you're saying.
There's no way in hell I'm seeing the Indianapolis Colts win 12 games in any league.
You have them winning 10. All it is like 2 more lucky wins.
Difference. That's the difference between going home and having home field throughout the playoffs. What are you talking about?
It's only 2 more. By the way, I do have the FanDuel odds as far as who they have as the favorites to win the division. It's pretty close. The Colts are minus 105 favorite. The Titans are plus 150. So it's pretty close. But Vegas has the Colts winning this division very, very close. So I wanted to bring fans on of all the teams that we're going to talk about during all our previews. And I do know a fan of the Texans.
There? That's the man right there. That's the motherfucker.
Oh, nice. Right next to him.
See that guy right there? That's the motherfucking man right there.
I do know a fan of the Texans. I asked him, can you record a short video and let us know your thoughts on the Texans, what you expect this year? And so I'm going to share that right now. The Colts fan I knew did not hit me back up in time, and I don't know any Jaguars fans at all.
There isn't any
besides Tony Khan.
So here's my good buddy Drew Heathcock, and he's gonna tell us what he thinks about the Texans this year.
So we're talking about the Texans. It's a tough one. I think it all comes down to how you believe Davis Mills can be. I think he had a very, very good sneaky second half of the season last year. His red zone percentage was fantastic. His quarterback rating, I think, was like 122 in the red zone, and he threw 0 interceptions in the red zone, which is all, the red zone's kind of the most important part. I don't think he's good enough to be a top 10 guy, especially this year. Maybe sometime. I don't know if he's going to like the franchise guy, but I think he's definitely, if he's able to take a step, I think it's going to be the only way we'll actually be able to get wins. But I genuinely believe that Nick Caserio had a wonderful draft. I think we got much better. I don't know why we didn't take Sauce, but, him being at LSU, guarding Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and just having that freshman season that he had, I guess it makes sense. So our secondary is vastly improved. We took a safety. We also took a linebacker from Alabama. We took interior offensive lineman who's, you can never do bad going interior offensive line in the first round. But our run game, hopefully Lovie Smith can continue to pop out wonderful defenses. We had a great defense last year. Well, I should say sneakily great. We kind of bad. When your offense has such a shaky, rough start, it's kind of hard to maintain a positive defense, but they actually had a pretty solid season, like an underrated season in my opinion. I think with all the talent we got there, if our defense can just be decent, we're definitely going to be above average, but if we can get in that like top 10, top 7 category, I really think we can win 8-9 games. I think reality is going to be, I think our cap's going to be at 7 wins. I would love, obviously, for us to make some crazy, miraculous thing and go to the playoffs, but I doubt it. But Matt Ryan's not very good anymore, so we'll see what happens. But thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Drew. You made JJ choke.
Holy.
How many wins did you have, StatKing, for the Texans?
I think 4.
And I have 2, and then I think JJ said 2 too.
2 if they're lucky.
He said if they're lucky. Damn.
They are the worst franchise in the entire league right now. It's not even close. Like, it's not even close. Like, the Jets got a better team than them. The Browns got a way better roster than them. The Jaguars in the same division got a better roster than them and a much better defense. I appreciate him because he's a Texans fan and he's riding the shit out. I appreciate him because we had our dog years too. We had Jake Locker on our fucking roster, so I know what this shit is. But 8 wins. He said 8 or 9.
He said if they're lucky.
This year, that's just fan talk.
Play the lottery if you're that lucky.
I appreciate it. That's fan talk. They might be close. They might be competitive in 8 games, but competitive means they lose. But competitive, holy no.
I don't love the running backs. They had the last running game in the league last year, and what did they do to improve that? They got injury prone Marlon Mack.
They're the only
wide
team
receiver.
They're the only team in the league. As you're gonna say, they didn't improve their roster at all.
They got Brandon Cooks. They re-signed him. He's okay. You're not really helping out your young quarterback here much. You didn't improve the running game at all, like barely. Like Marlon Mack's gonna help a little bit, but he's gonna get hurt again. Probably. Watch. Derek Stingley. There's gonna be a lot of controversy, like comparing Stingley to Sauce Gardner, their entire careers.
Yeah.
Stingley, I know Stingley very well. I'm an LSU fan, and he was seasoned going through war with Chase and Jefferson in practice. That's right. But then he fell off. He wasn't as good as he was his freshman year when they won the championship. So Stingley, there's going to be a close eye on Stingley to see if he's as good as Sauce Gardner in their career. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, man. JJ, I'm more than happy to be wrong on this. It just feels as though because Carson Wentz is just such like a damaged goods quarterback that it feels as though almost anybody is going to be a solid improvement over what he did last year.
I appreciate
that's the argument.
I'm on record to say that the Colts will be better this year.
Because my thing is they know that Jonathan Taylor is the offense if you have Carson Wentz behind center. With Matt Ryan, he can at least throw the ball and get the ball where it's going. So it's like that opens up a lot more for complementary football when it comes to running and play action.
But I'm used to this, though. This is a year-by-year thing. The fact that I feel like the team that is predicted to win the division is always oversold, and we're always underappreciated. It's the kind of the lay of the land, the fact of the beast of the NFL, and people that don't have an idea who my Tennessee Titans are. So I understand it. With the criticism or just not knowing who we are. I understand that. So I just have to say this, like the last 2 to 3 seasons, just watch us prove y'all wrong again.
As long as Henry gives me like at
it's
least
nothing personal. I'm not a Colts fan.
As long as I was about to say, I'm only in this for like 2 or 3. Like if Henry gives me 2 or 3 highlight reels where he's just trucking the shit out of somebody, then it's a great season for me when it comes to the AFC South.
And I think that's the only thing that matters, and that's the only thing that people know about is Henry's stiff arms. And Henry got, and you know what's crazy is that as much as I love them stiff arms didn't get him anywhere. Like the stiff arms that he got on Josh Norman and the poor Lions guy, he got like an additional 3 to 4 yards on that because he ran right out of bounds. The stiff arms that I love is the ones that he breaks through the middle and he pushes that linebacker and he breaks one for 20 to 50 yards. Those are the ones that I love. I love the ones that he gives the gentle stiff arm and they out the way because that's going to break him for a longer game. Those ones that he throws people, poor Josh Norman. Poor Josh. Like the fact, like he lives on highlight reels forever, but it ended up being an additional 3 to 4 yards. So that's I understand it because that's what people see on SportsCenter. People don't watch my team play, which obviously if you're not a fan, you're not going to. Just watch us prove you wrong again.
Derrick
Let me read some
Henry
comments.
confirmed as the number 1 overall pick in the fantasy league if JJ gets the number 1 pick.
Yeah, we got to do that lottery. Let me read some comments
Wait,
here.
wait. Fantasy football and real life, 2 totally different animals.
So you're not pick if you had the first overall pick.
If I have
you would not take Derrick Henry?
No, I'm not going to pick Derrick Henry because I know what if we're in a PPR format, that's Jonathan Taylor all the way. Derrick Henry is probably going to be good for like anywhere between 30 to 40 catches. That's like 2 catches a game. Jonathan Taylor could get anywhere from 7 to 9. And
man, what happens when he has a better quarterback throwing it to him? Crazy. Crazy. I know. It's crazy.
You dick.
We're talking about
now I just want to see how much I can set you up.
Giving Matt Ryan all these fucking flowers, and he hasn't won a fucking big thing. He's had the longest Super Bowl hangover of all time.
Hey, he just has to be a better Ryan Tannehill. That's not asking much.
Then you're asking for the entire team to be a better version of us. It's not. I think you're basing your whole prediction on 2 guys, and that's where you're getting this all wrong. You're getting it all wrong.
You only have them 1 game apart.
You only have them who's the better quarterback between Ryan Tannehill and Matt Ryan, and that is a terrible way to pick a team.
You said it's going to be close. If I'm wrong by 2 games, it's not by a lot, you know.
It actually is a lot when you're predicting shit.
2 games, it's not by. If they still finish first, it doesn't really matter. Like.
So if the Colts the Colts go 10-7 and the Titans go 11-6, that was dramatically wrong.
No, if the Colts still win the division, is what I mean.
Of course, you're gonna stick to your guns. I understand that, and I appreciate both of y'all for sticking to your guns, but it ain't gonna happen.
All right.
The only way it's gonna happen is if injuries happen, which is obviously very possible in the NFL.
Yeah, you gotta account for those. Chase Oliver, Mahomes has the most talented arm, but he falls in love with the home run ball. When teams play 2-eye safety, Mahomes struggled with reading the field. Always can improve. He threw a lot of interceptions last year.
Yeah,
a lot. Very uncharacteristic of
his standards.
Yes. Chase says Matt Ryan resurgence year. Blue says Colts are going 5-12. The only person I hate as much as Matt Taven is Matt Ryan. Oh. Fuck Matt Ryan.
That's just hate. Yeah, that's just hate. That's just hate. I ain't gonna lie. That's just hate. That's pure hate.
Hey, we know a Jaguars fan. Kid get money. If my Jags win 7 games, it would be a good season.
I won't be surprised.
Damn right it would be.
Jaguars go 6-11 or 7-10. I won't be surprised.
A kid get money. If you're still here, let me know if you would like to join the stream and talk Jaguars, because I want people from their teams to join these previews and give us a breakdown of their teams. Like we have Top Guy JJ here, but we'll have Top Guy JJ on more. I want to talk about the Jaguars just a little bit before I read some more comments. I give him credit for trying to help their franchise quarterback out because he needed help, but I still think the jury is out on Trevor Lawrence. And these upgrades they got are just, they're like, they shopped at the store that they could shop at, They didn't shop at, they didn't reach for the top shelves. They got whatever they could. Evan Ingram stinks. He stinks. There's got to be some other tight end out there.
I'm not looking at that. I'm not looking at Evan Ingram at all. He's going to be a supplementary.
I mean, we're talking about wide receivers. And
I'm looking
who's after Pittman on the Colts. The Jaguars' top 3 are going to be Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, and either Marvin Hall or Zay Jones.
No, it's what about
Chenault?
Listen, this is Chenault. Which is
he's a gadget player.
He's a good player for that team. And the fact that they're going to have 3 solid wide receivers every down, as long as they can stay healthy, and 2 good running backs. They got 2 good running backs on that team.
Yes, they have Etienne, who's returning. He didn't play at all last season.
And people don't understand how good Miles Jack is, man. Miles Jack is a dog. Like, Miles Jack is a damn dog. Miles
Jack is gone. They lost him in he got free agency. He went to, who did he go to? Steelers, I think? No, somewhere.
I think he might have. Yeah, he's a Steelers.
But he's gone.
Steelers. Oh, he's in the Steelers.
That helps the Steelers.
See, now, one person that I don't think is going to be, I don't know who the hell he is that number 1 pick. Like, I don't know who the hell that is.
Yes, he is going to, all eyes are on him because he is going to be compared to Thibodeau for the Giants. He's going to be compared to Hutchinson from the Lions for years to come. Years to come to see who got that draft right with those 3 edge rushers.
Yeah, that was the big story, right?
Was it Trayvon Walker or some shit?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't think that was like. I think if you're gonna lose Miles Jack, I obviously I'm just learning that now. I thought he was still on the roster. If you're gonna lose him, and you don't replace him with
they didn't just lose him. They released him.
Ooh, yeah. So that must have been some bad. There must have been some bad blood on that.
They released him.
He must have requested it, or he must have requested it.
Let me read some more comments. Chase Oliver, the Titans. I like the rookie Treylon Burks. And JJ, you're going to love the kid Kyle Phillips from UCLA.
I probably will, but I don't think I'm going to see much of him this season, to be fair. I think we're going to see a lot of Treylon Burks. I think we're going to see a lot of Robert Woods, Austin Hooper, Westbrook Kenai. I think we're going to see a lot of that. And then if we see Phillips, it'll probably be like late in the game, or he'll come out in 4 wide sets, which we don't run a lot of. Or injury. Injury could be a possibility, but I see possibility, but not this season.
Malik Willis, does he see time this year? If he sees time, that means
only through injury. Only if injury.
That means something went wrong.
only way he'll see the field is if an injury happens, because
or in blowouts.
Mike Vrabel has a very long leash and he doesn't have trust issues when it comes to his quarterback, because he's led him to back-to-back division titles. If he has 2 bad games, he's not going to pull.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not going to pull him and literally just shake the entire franchise and put in a rookie that we drafted in the 3rd round. Malik Willis is our future, but he's not our now.
Well, let me ask you this question: How soon do you think it is before they turn the keys over to the kid?
If we don't make it beyond like the wild card or the divisional round, then he's on the hook for the offseason and a possibility of the following year. But this year, I think this is all Ryan Tannehill. I think this is his last shot to really kind of like get that sour taste out of all Titans fans' mouth, because as good of a season as he's had, the only thing everybody remembers is throwing that interception with 24 seconds left on 3rd down and literally cost us the game.
Because
sorry?
No.
I was going to say that's the only thing that people remembers. And he obviously, he had to go see counseling. He had to go see a therapist for months because of all of that backlash that he
Wait, really? I thought you were kidding.
No, he had to see a therapist. He had to go seek a therapist. He had to go seek some counseling because all of the hate messages and all of the criticism that he received for that one bad game, even though we were in the game the entire game, he got the 100% of the blame, as he should have, but he obviously didn't take it very well, because that was the biggest spot he's ever been in his career, because that was the chance. That was the team to go to the Super Bowl. That was the Super Bowl team right there, and he blew it. Yeah.
Because the reason why I'm asking is because, nowadays with players wanting renegotiations, before their rookie contracts or just contracts in general are up, not just the year of or even 1 year before, sometimes even starting 2 years before. With Malik Willis, if this is a question of waiting 1 year, 2 years, you guys run the risk of him either demanding a contract or trying to get traded.
That's not even possible. He has to touch the field to demand anything.
I'm saying you're saying you guys have invested in him as the future. So my question is, how soon can the future happen? Because he's
2 years minimum 2 years. Just because we didn't draft him as a now quarterback, we drafted him in the 3rd round as insurance. He wasn't picked as he wasn't our number 1 pick in the 1st round. He wasn't even our top pick. There's a big difference between rounds 1 and 2 and 3. Because everybody ain't gonna turn out to be. You're not paying him much
with a round 3 contract.
Because you can have a situation where he sits out 2 years. He starts playing the 3rd year. Maybe Tannehill is traded, whatever the case may be.
Tannehill's contract is this year and then next year.
He has 2 years left.
And then let's say in that 3rd year of his contract, let's say Willis is playing and he lights it up.
Then we would pay him. then we pay him. I mean, that's obvious. I think
Tannehill will be 36 by then.
That's the way of the
Not
NFL.
that
He
old
comes
anymore
in year
for a
one and he
quarterback.
tears it up. He tears it
For
up.
him, it is. For him,
Yeah, he comes in
him
and
it
he throws for 3,000 yards, throws 20 touchdowns, has a little bit of a rushing game, runs for like 400 or 500 yards, adds another couple of touchdowns in there. He's making bank.
All right.
Like that. That's gonna happen. That's just the way the NFL is. Even though he might not even be a top 20 guy during that time, he's gonna see $100 million contract. That's just the way the NFL works.
Let me ask you one more thing. What did you think about Tannehill's comment saying it's not my job to help Malik Willis?
It's not. I mean, the fact that the way he said it is his job is to go in there and lead the team to win games. And if he learns from him along the way, that's great. But that's not his specific job. That's why we have quarterback coaches and head coaches, is to get them readied up. So to literally usher a guy in that they just drafted when you're still in your early 30s, you think that you're not going to sit here and usher a new guy in to take your job when you know you're not on the longest leash. So I think that you got he left up. I think when I explained what he went through with therapy and everything, to think that he's just coming back from that to mentor somebody to take his job, that's not the approach that I want him to have. I want him to have the belief that this is his job. Right. This is his job. This is his football team that he won back-to-back division titles with. It is not his job to give up, not his job to lose. That's the mindset he has to have.
Fair enough. That's fair enough to me. One last comment I'll read out here. Nick Jackson. I agree with Top Guy. As a native Houstonian, 2 if they're lucky. Fuck the Texans. Woo. Damn.
Harsh. It's harsh.
It's tough out there in Houston land right now, man. Like it's literally that hangover from Deshaun Watson is really bad. Like J.J. Watt leaving. It's just a bad taste in Houston, in that city of Houston right now with that particular team.
Bill O'Brien fucked that team over so bad. Trading Hop, letting JJ go, the whole Watson thing.
They let everybody go that they cheer for.
Yeah.
Well, did you write down Top Guy's picks for the division as far as numbers, so you can hold on to it? I want to look back at it at the end of the year.
I don't think you gave me numbers, JJ. But if you'd like to,
I did. I have Titans 11-6. I have Colts 10-7. I have Jaguars 6-11. I have the Houston Texans 2-15.
Hold on, I can only type so fast, sir.
So 11, 10, 6, and 2. Just remember those.
Yeah, there you go. 11, 10, 6, 2.
6 and 2. Got it.
11 is Titans. Thank you very much.
I'll put you down for the Colts. Don't worry.
So I think I'm being fair by saying we're taking a step back because we won 12 games and had home field advantage throughout the entire AFC last year. So to take a step back,
yeah,
I think
you're just not taking as far a step as you should. That's all.
How many wins? How many wins is the Jets gonna get this year?
Well, we'll talk about that in our AFC East preview.
And guys, we want to thank you for tuning in. Actually, that raises a fun question. Romeo, what division would you like to do next?
I would like to keep with the theme and next do the NFC South.
NFC South. So, guys, the next time you catch us on the football podcast, we will be breaking down the barring any kind of insanely crazy news coming out. We just don't have time to do our win-loss records in time. The next time you see us, we will be breaking down the NFC South, doing our win-loss predictions. We'll try to get some NFC South fans on here and talk about Tom Brady and what's happening with the Saints and Jameis Winston, and whether or not Baker. We already talked about Baker Mayfield last time.
Oh, Blue, this is going to be your time to shine.
Yeah, Blue, it's going to be your time. There we go.
Come on the stream.
You can come on here. Blue, you'll be able to come on here and give us an argument as to why Christian McCaffrey has like a 97 rating in Madden and why he deserves a 12 when it comes to injuries, and see where they're going to go this season for the Panthers.
If you invite me back, you're gonna hear a ton of Baker Mayfield slander. I'm letting you know.
Bro, you're invited anytime. Like I think I like this time slot stacking. Thursday.
If it's at this
I
time,
I don't mind it.
Yeah, pretty much anyone if it's at this time slot.
And I did was the last 10-15 minutes of Blunt Impact, I popped onto the stream and reminded everybody that we're gonna go live. So yeah, maybe this time next week, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be able to catch us here on THH Sports, where we cover basketball, football, baseball, everything. And like I just mentioned, we have our main channel, True Heel Heat Wrestling, where we talk about everything that happens in the wide world of wrestling, and we do mean everything. So, Top Guy, tell the people where they can find you, my good sir.
On Instagram, sirs, you can find me, and ladies and gents, whoever is watching this, and thank you all for watching this. Chat was on fire tonight. Love you guys for that. On Instagram, you can find me at TrueHeel_Top Guy JJ. On the YouTube channel, when I make my random appearances on the True Heel Heat podcast with the beautiful Miss Chrissy Love and SP3. I should be back on that show for the full episode very soon. I'm just working on my schedule because that's been a bitch lately. But also pop in here, watch alongs, roundtables, or whatever I'm available for, especially if it's not WWE related. I prefer that. But this was fun tonight, guys. This was pretty damn awesome. Had a lot of fun with you guys, chopping it up, arguing about sports as we love to do as grown men that watches other people play. You know,
here's a fun final question for you. Yes or no? Derrick Henry shows up at SummerSlam.
No.
All right.
Wow.
Anybody from the Titans shows up at SummerSlam.
It's too close. I mean,
anybody from the Titans.
It's for publicity.
Yeah.
And it's for publicity, but it's too close to this. It's too close to training camp, and he's got to get his shit right. Like, he's got to get his shit right. Like, we literally, the season is 6 weeks away from SummerSlam, so I'm gonna say no.
Some tight in there.
I'm gonna say no.
Well, Romeo, tell the people where they can find you on all of the many YouTube channels that you are on.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Subscribe if you're not already, if you're new. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. We're just a baby channel. We're brand new. We appreciate everyone who subscribed already. You can follow me, True Heel Romeo, on Twitter and Instagram. Over on the True Heel Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. I do Raw watch-alongs, NXT watch-alongs, Dynamite watch-alongs, pay-per-view watch-alongs like this weekend. 8 p.m. Saturday night, ROH, Death Before Dishonor. Join us for that. But also, hey, here on the sports channel, it's going to be a long day for me Saturday because I'm starting at 3 p.m. And I'm going to watch a little UFC with my friends. UFC London. Join us for that. Blades versus Aspinall. That starts at 3, and that should lead right into ROH at 8. Hopefully I get a little break before 8 p.m. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss when we go live. We don't have these set times for NFL streams, NBA streams, and MLB streams, but I like this time slot. So if this is going to be the NFL slot, I'm cool with that. And JJ could be here too. That's awesome. So the more the merrier. We'll figure it out because I do like I said, I do want to do these previews where I bring on people from their teams and they get to talk about them. But worst case scenario, they could send in videos as well, like we just saw with Drew. Thank you, Drew, for that Texans video. Even though you're going to lose much more games than you think, we appreciate it. And I'm still going to get a Colts fan. Maybe at the beginning of next week, we'll play the Colts video and get a Colts. I know a Colts fan. He's going to get me a video at least.
You know what? If the Colts do completely fuck up this season, it's still sweet payback for how they treated Peyton Manning, and I'm with it. So either way, I win. True.
Peyton Manning's your boy.
Ever since he
left. And the Colts losing to the Jaguars last year. You better stop that shit. You let the Jaguars stop you? You better not do that shit again.
Bro, the Jaguars might get 3 wins in the division this year.
The Texans are automatic too. Just need one more.
Could be either one of us.
No, not us. We're not
either
Colts.
one of us or the Colts.
We're not Colts.
Could be one of us or the Colts.
Okay.
Since Romeo
already has enough teams that he follows.
Romeo's the biggest Matt Ryan fan now.
No.
Well, guys, you can catch me on Dark Power covering AEW Dark Elevation, NWA Power, and on Fridays, or whenever we are able to air it, Rampage Wrap-Up, myself and Josh covering AEW Rampage. So for myself, for True Heel Romeo, for Top Guy JJ, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys later.